let's first create a new project. So how do we create the project? We need to go to the Spring Initializer in the Google. Spring Initializer in the Google. So you will get start.spring.io. Go inside our project. As we are familiar, the project is Gradle Springboot version, always the oldest version. Project metadata, synapse, artifact, the project name. So anybody has any idea what should be the project name? Mm, Banking service, right? Yesterday we had already created. Let's create SBI service. SBI service. So everything else is automatically populated. The packaging is war. Java version is 8. The dependencies web, first and foremost one. Second one is Spring Data JPA. Spring Data JPA. No, we are working with the MongoDB, right? So we don't need Spring Data JPA. But if we just type MongoDB here, Spring Data MongoDB, you will get. Let's generate the project. Project is generated. Show in folder. Go to the downloads. Copy this. Paste it in the projects. Paste item. Right. So next step is to unzip it. So it is unzipped. So if you go inside, you can see all the required files should be good. The next step is to go to IntelliJ. Go to IntelliJ, open the project, click on File, open. Here is this. It was work, right? Work projects December 22. SBI service. Inside that, we need to select build.gradle. Open as project. Trust project. Let's wait for this project to be loaded. You can see here when you click on the build, you can see these things are happening here. Alright, build is successful. The indexing is happening. Should be done in few seconds. It is completed. So we have the project loaded in the local. What is the next step? So as soon as you load the project, the immediate step is to add swagger support. Swagger support, right? How do I add the swagger support? I'll just copy paste from the previous project. SBI, banking service. So these are the two lines that I need to add in the build.gradle file, right? So I just add it here. And then the next step is to add the swagger configuration class. So here we need to create a package first. The package name is config. That means all the configuration classes will go in the config package. The next is creating a swagger config class. So even this also you just need to copy paste from the existing project. I just copy paste right from the include imports. I'm not going to make any change. Right? This will not be because still whatever the dependencies that we had added in the builder gradle, right? Those are not downloaded. That's the reason all these imports are showing as red, right? So for that you need to either refresh once. Sometimes refresh will be sufficient. Sometimes you will have to build the project. How do we build? You need to go to the tasks. Under tasks, you will see the build. Under build, you will see another build. But now, with just a refresh, it is all resolved. So we don't have to do this step now. Clear? All right. So the swagger is done. Swagger setup is done. What is the next step? We need to add the MongoDB connection, right? We want to connect to the MongoDB database, right? We need to connect to the MongoDB database. Anyways, for connecting to the MongoDB database, we have already added the dependency, right? In the Spring Initializer, we added MongoDB, right? So that's so that has been added this piece of line. Now for this, we need to add properties, MongoDB database properties under resources application dot properties. I'll just copy paste from the previous project the same MongoDB configuration. I'm not going to make any change. Now, once you add the MongoDB configuration, you need to add the MongoDB configuration class. Right? Again, go to the config package, create a new class that is Mongo config. Alright. Even this class also you can directly copy paste from the other project. So there is no change because we are trying to connect to the same database in the same way, the same properties. So there is no change. Okay. All right. Now, if you see in the database, right, how many databases we have? These are all the databases. Loan is one database. Under loan, you have one collection called loans, and student is one database. Under student, you have student DB, right? And there is one database admin which doesn't have anything, and config, there is a settings collection, and Jora DB, this is where we have all the collections that we have created, right? And local, there are some other three collections, right? So now what we'll do is We'll have a separate database for this new project SBI service. Okay, separate database, right? So let's create a database here. Okay, yeah, create a database. So I'll put SBI. So collection name, first collection name, savings accounts or just accounts, I'll say accounts. So we have created a database SBI. Under SBI, we have a collection accounts, which is empty now. The collection name is empty. Now, if you go back to the code, in the Mongo configuration class, there is a place where we are specifying the database name. See here. So this code connects to the JoraDB, but now we want to connect to the SBI database. So what is the change that we need to do? We just need to make the change here SBI so that now this database connection connects to the SBI database. All right. So now we have all the required setup. Minimum required setup is done. The basic thing is the Swagger configuration so that we don't have to write the queries manually. We can directly get all the queries through the Swagger page, right? The second one is we could establish the connection with the database, right? We could establish the connection with the database. DB name. Are we using this DB name anywhere? Okay, so here DB again we are specifying Jora DB, right? So here also we need to put SBI. Okay, cool. Now what is the next step? Let's try to create the accounts now, right? Let's try to create the accounts. So we should first create the controllers, right? Next step is to create the REST APIs. So create a package, controllers, controller. Under this, let's create a new class. Count controller. Count controller. So whenever you write a controller class, what is the thing that immediately that you need to do? You need to add a annotation called at the rate REST controller. As soon as you type REST, you are getting three, four different options. So you should select REST controller, the first one. So let's create a first API to create the bank accounts. Okay? To create the bank accounts. So what is that? We need to we'll use the post mapping, not the get mapping, because yesterday I had shown you the simple example, right? Because of the time constraints where we have only three fields. But today, let's try to create a realistic bank account, right? Realistic bank account with a lot of fields. Create account, right? Create account. Public string create account. Let's just keep it like this. This has to go inside the box. Right? Just keep it like this. So meanwhile, let's create another package here, right? Let's create another package here. That is, you can say domain. Domain. So inside the domain, let's create a Ozo class with the name account. Ozo class with the name account. Now tell me what are the various fields a bank account can have. You guys need to go ahead now. I'm not going to write. You need to tell me. You name any field which relates to the bank account.
Name,
Only name?
first name,
Yeah. You need to,
last.
I am sure all of you might have been at least to open a new account, new bank account, right? So you keep the application when you are filling, right? That in mind and then tell me the fields.
Last name,
Yeah.
Mobile number, mail ID,
Private, bank, file number. Next, private,
Aadhaar number,
bank, email ID, private, bank, Aadhaar number. What else?
nominee of the account,
Private, bank, nominee. What else? What else you'll be asked when you go to a bank and then ask for a account opening?
like current or savings account.
Yeah, that means what is that? Current or savings account, right? So I will right. You have come to the right point. So let's see how do I manage that current or savings account, right? Java class. So basically, what is that current or savings account? That is a type of the account, right? Right?
Yes, yes,
Account type. So I create a enum, not the Java class. See here, we learnt about the enums, right? Enumeration sometime back. So I'm going to create a enum. So account types are always what? They are the fixed set of types, right?
yes.
Savings, then what else? Current, what else? What are the other types of accounts can be there? For now, savings are current. Current, okay? Let's leave it like this. So here, the type of the field is account type, account type. See how I am using that enum here? Account type, account type. You'll understand even more when I finish the implementation. What are the other fields? You need to tell me first.
Like we have to select those internet banking, those things and all.
What is that field actually?
Online services.
Online services, okay, but how does it fit into the account model? So that means basically you are asking, I think there will be a checkbox on the application, right? Whether you need the internet banking or not. Something like that you are
Yes,
expecting, right? Okay.
yes, yes.
So that means what could be the data type for that question? You think about it. So I think in the application form you will have, do you need internet banking? Then below that you will have two options, right? Yes or no. And you need to click on it, right? One of them, right? Is
Yes,
that
yes.
the way that you had seen the application? Or sometimes you will have only internet banking and just besides that there will be a checkbox where you just tick it, right? So that means what is the data type that you can think of for such field?
Boolean.
Exactly. It's a true or false field, right? True or false. Boolean is internet banking required. Is internet banking required? And one more thing I want all of you to notice here while writing the field names, right? I am following some standard. I am following some standard. If you see here, is internet banking required? I had put I as the small letter, and then second I, which starts internet, is the capital letter, and again B is the capital letter, and again R is the capital letter. What does it mean? What do we call this? If you see, you can see the same convention across all the fields. Always the first letter is always the small, and whenever you see the second word is starting, the starting letter of the second word or the subsequent word is always the capital letter. What does it mean? It is called
Camel
as
code.
a camel case. It is called as a camel case. I think this is the shape of the camel, right? The back of the camel is always on the down, and it will have that uh, back on the high, and then its neck and the mouth is will be even more on the high, right? So this is the naming convention we use in the Java, whether it is method names or variable names, right? Method names or variable names. So that is one intermediate point. So what else? What are the other fields that we can think of?
PAN card.
Sorry,
PAN card. PAN card.
PAN card, private string, PAN card number. What else?
Account balance.
So account balance. So account balance, there can be multiple things, right? Okay. Before that, what could be the data type of the account balance?
Int or somewhere it is long.
Int.
Sometimes it may be long too.
Okay. Then
While opening the account, it won't ask for account balance. Right?
yeah, at least you think of opening balance, right? Even at the time of opening the account, also you will have to deposit some money, right? You just think in that way. I know I have that point in my mind, but I'll come to that later. But still, just think that we have the balance field. So what should be the data type for that? Correct data type.
Long,
Why is it long?
because the amount will be in even pies also, right?
Yes, exactly. Now you tell me what is the suitable data type for the paisa?
Float.
Float next. Float can hold only one decimal point, right?
Long int,
Hmm? You forgot about the double. Why double? Because the balance can always be in the multiple decimals, right? So double data type can hold any decimals, right? It can be 100.16, 96.137, like that, right? You can say opening balance. Now let's, for your purpose, let's have closing balance on. What are the other fields? What else we can have?
Branch.
Branch, private, string, branch. What else?
SMS alert.
SMS alerts enabled, right? So what is the data type?
String only.
Anybody has any other thoughts? For SMS alerts, what is the data type? The data type.
boolean only.
It is yes or no, right? Yes or no? If you want the SMS alerts or not, that means yes or no. What else?
C.
Yes, could be a string else.
Pin code.
Pin code is more relevant, or some other code is more relevant for this. I'm giving you the hint. You are close, but pin code or some other code.
In address field, it will come, I think.
There should be a code for each and every bank and branch, right? What is the
I-
code?
IFSC code.
Exactly. So it's train IFSC code. What else?
Checkbook request.
Is checkbook required? Right. So what is the
Yes.
data type?
Boolean.
Boolean. Is checkbook required? What else?
Occupation.
Occupation. Okay. Private. So occupation again. Do you remember what were the how it looks like in the application form? The occupation. Does it have always a few options, or you can enter whatever you want to enter?
Like we can
Yeah,
enter
it
both.
has something employed or self-employed.
Right. So that means there that is a fixed set of items, right? So when there are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fixed set of items, what is the data type? What should we do?
Enum.
Enum, right? So what should be the enum name now? Occupation
Type
only,
of
right?
occupation type.
Occupation. We can use occupation. So under occupation, what can we have?
Salaried,
Government
Employed or
employee,
self-employed.
self-employed.
government employee, private employee, next businessman, business person, right? What else?
Self-employed.
Self-employed. So for now, let's think of these four. Go back to account. So what is the data type now? Private, occupation, occupation. What else? You guys are missing one simple, very basic field that should have come on the top here itself. Not one, there are basically two.
Father's name.
Simple basic, no. Then that will be the third one, if you ask me. Private, string. Instead of father, it should be a guardian name, right? Or no? You don't have to accept whatever I say. You can challenge me sometimes. I'll try to correct in my knowledge, but if you feel something else is right, you can challenge me. It doesn't matter that you said father name, but I said guardian name. But if you feel that father name is the right one, you can challenge me. What else? Those two are still missing.
Gender.
Okay, one is covered. So gender is what? Is it you can enter anything or it's always some fixed number of values?
No male or female or others.
So what should we do for that? When it is a fixed number of items, what should we do?
Enum.
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 We need to create the
Create a class.
enum. Let's create a
Enum class.
enum here in the same domain package. Create Java class. So what is the enum name? It should be gender and enum, right? So what are the possible values? Male, female, the third one is transgender. And you can see sometimes the fourth option also sometimes. You might have seen at some places. Do not wish to specify. Have you ever seen this option under gender whenever you are filling any applications? So here it should be private, gender, gender. So what else? One more basic thing is missing.
Address.
Address is not exactly the one that I have in my mind. Okay, address also I'll. So address basically what are the various values an address can have. So within address itself there are multiple fields, right? That can be first flat number, and then street, and then locality, area, town, district, city, or something like that, right? There are so many fields within address, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
How do you manage that as a one field? Let's create another model class, another Pozo class with the address, and we use this address here. Very, very important. Private. So what are the fields an address can have? That number, private, string. You guys should be able to tell this.
City.
City, okay. So code city, what comes when you are asked to write the address? What is the sequence that you write the address? You tell me. First, tell me one example.
Landmark.
Apartment name.
If I ask you to write your address, you tell me your address now. I'll first type it here.
Street name.
First is the street name that you will write.
House. Like flat number or house
Do one
number.
thing. Do one thing. You tell me your address here. First, let's write your
Eight,
address.
87
8067
by 559.
by 559
Srinagar Colony.
Srinagar Colony,
Near Vijay Durga Degree College.
near
Vijay Durga Degree
Vijaya
College.
Durga College. Next,
Arnold.
next
518002.
518.
002.
Next,
Andhra Pradesh.
so this is how you write the address, right? This is a sequence, right? You will not write the pin code first and then Srinagar Colony second, and then you don't put this door number in the last, right? There is a standard format that we write the address, right? So now keeping this in mind, you tell me what are the various fields I can have. So 860 by 867 by 559. What is that? Flat number, right? So we have added the flat number. What is the Srinagar Colony?
Street name.
Street name, right? So we can have private string street name. What else? What is the next one? What is this actually
Landmark.
in your?
Landmark.
It is a landmark, right? All right. Private string landmark. Next, what is this?
City.
This is your city. Yes, I already have one here. String. Next,
Pin code.
pin code is what? For now, let's keep it as string only. Next,
State.
you guess So now this is with respect to your address, right? Because you are living in a city where that city itself is a district, right? For example, there is somebody who is living in Adoni and he also has a similar address. Maybe here it will be 560, right? And this is some Sriram Nagar, Sriram Colony, right? So what is the difference that you see,
Town name.
right? No, town or city, anyways, it is covered. It is both are same.
Like village or mandal.
In fact, it should be district. Okay. So this is the address. This is how it looks like, right? If you are living in a Adoni, right? Karnool is a district, right? So how do you specify this? What is missing here? Did we cover this
District.
flat number? Did we cover this flat number? Yes or no? Flat number is covered or not in the fields?
Yes.
Okay. Then what is this?
Street name.
So street name is covered or not?
Yes.
All right. Next, what is this?
Landmark covered.
Covered. What is this?
That is
That's okay. You can consider this as a city only.
okay.
In this example, Adoni is city. Though it is not a
Okay.
city, that's okay. But if you
Okay.
put Hyderabad here, then it will be a city only, right? Or Vijayawada, it's a city only, right?
Then we have to add private string district.
Exactly. We are missing the district here. We are missing the district field. Private in district. So this is one standard basic address. Now, if I want to specify the address here, how do I specify in the account? Private address. This is a so the data type of the address is address. So within address, what are the various fields we have? We have this many fields: flat number, street name, landmark, city, district, pin code, and state. What else? Still, I'm missing one. That simple basic thing. I think if
Like
Apply
for
date.
address proof,
sorry,
like for address proof, we have to give something like
no, that
voter
is
card or
that is
Aadhaar card.
yeah, that is next level. But I'm asking about one basic thing.
Date we are missing.
What date?
Applying date for account.
You are close, but that is not that priority. I think somebody can take the clue of it.
Nationality.
Date of birth.
Exactly. Date of birth. This is what I'm more interested. Yeah, nationality is also important. Private. So for the date, I will use. So what is the data type of the date? So there are so many things, right? We'll use local date. Date of birth. So somebody was saying nationality, right? I'll quickly write it. Private string nationality. All right. So what do we call this class? This is a POSO class, right? When you have the fields like this, right, where you want to represent a model, this is called as a POSO class, right? Whenever you write a POSO class, what do you need to do? Anybody has any idea?
Two string methods. Generate two
Exactly. We
string
need to
methods.
generate, even before that, you need to generate getter and setters
Get
first,
one.
right? Select all, okay, right? You have got all the getters and setters generated. Next, to string equals and hash code. You don't have to make any change. Just select the default options. Generate and then what else? ToString. Done. Right? So we have the account controller. Account model is created where it has a lot of fields and few belongs to string data type, few is local date, few is boolean, few is gender that is of enum, and something else is account type where it is type, right, enum, boolean, right. We have almost all the data types here, right. And also we have one address which is the another data type inside a data type, right. So address is a different data type but that is added inside this data type, right. So now, so
For
whenever, yeah,
for me, while generating getters and setters method, all the methods are not selecting.
if all the
But
methods are
I
not
need to.
coming, when you are clicked on generate, right, it would have opened one uh, option like this. Since it is already here, I'm not able to see, but you need to select all of them. After clicking on generate, right, it will open one window here, okay. So in that window you need to select all of them, then only you will get all of them. By default it will be selecting only one, only the first field, but you need to select all of them. All right.
Oh, okay.
So let's go back to the our API. So now, so if I'm using the post mapping, I should use at the rate request body. At the rate request body. What is the request body? I want to pass the account, right? Account, account. Right? Basically, I want to pass all these fields for creating the account, right? So how do I connect to the database from here? I need to add this line of code, that is at the rate auto add private mongo template, mongo template. Now here this mongo template dot save of count, comma, what is the collection name that we created for this accounts, right. I want to save all this information in the accounts collection. Spelling should be exactly same, the spelling in the database, right, accounts, and even in the code, even if it is different with the case, right. For example, here we are putting small letters and in the database if it is capital letters it doesn't work, it will create a different problem, right. So for this I'll just control alt v so that I get some return type, right. So I name it as save account or created account, created account, return created account. So what is the error here now? When I type the return statement, I am getting the error because I am returning the created account that is of type account. But our method has the return type of string. So these two are not matching, right? Either here I should return the string or here I should change the account, right? So I'll change it as account. Now the error has gone, right? So this is a simple REST API to create the account. Now let's run this application and then see how it works. SPI service application, how do I run? So I need to go to this main class, right, where it has the main method, right click and then run the application. All right, you see here, application is started on the Tomcat port number 8080. Let's go back to the browser, open the Swagger page. How do we open? Localhost colon 8080 swagger hyphen ui.html. You can see account controller. Right. Click on create account. You see here now, earlier in the yesterday's example, you were seeing name, age, gender, something like that, right? The three different fields. But here, now you are seeing a big text box, right? Big text box. Because, and what is the parameter? It is the account, right? So, how do you pass? So, for that, for not making any mistake, on the right hand side, you will see the example for this account. So you just click on this, right? If you click on this, that will come here. See, that will come here. Now you see all the fields here. These are all the fields that we had created in the account class. Aadhaar number, account type, address, branch, string, checkbook required, city, closing balance, date of birth, email ID, first name, gender, guardian, IFSC code. These are all the fields, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Right? You can relate it, right? See, you don't have to write all these things manually. Even if I ask you to write it manually, if you miss one simple double quotes or if you miss one simple colon symbol, this will not work. So you should not manually enter it. You should always click here, right? So all the default values come here. Then you just edit this. So Aadhaar number, you can say 9876, right? Then 5678, then 3421. I think 12 digits, right? Account type savings, because account types, what are the account types that we have defined? It was savings
Savings
and
and current.
current. So by default, it is taking the first option savings. If you want to change to current, you can change to current. So let's leave it with the current savings. So address, if you see the difference here for the address, it is again opening and closing bracket, and you need to put it in inside this because of why. So address is another object. So basically, account itself is an object, and within account, address is a child object here. Address is a child object, but Aadhaar number and account type are not the objects here. Those are just the fields. But here, a complete object is being treated as a what? A complete object is being treated as a field. Okay, so for the address you did not get the similar format here, right? Even if I have to write it manually, it will take some time and then I may end up doing mistakes. So what I will do is I'll go back to the code. This is just a hack. Okay, I'll go back, I'll write one similar REST API. Okay, this is just for the create address. I'll put, I just want to get that, address. This is the address, right? I don't even need this. I'll rerun the application. This is just a hack because address itself has a lot of fields, right? So I don't know what is the format and I don't want to take more time also. That is the reason I'm just following this hack. Let's run the application again. Okay, application is started. Go back to the Swagger page. Just refresh this. Now you have the create address. See, for create address, no, you are not getting anything. All right. Now I had got what is the problem. Right. So address is another POSO class only, right? So what was the problem that it has? Can anybody has any guess here?
Getters and setters are the
Exactly.
redundant methods.
Exactly. We missed all the getters and setters and also the toString equals hash code. That's the reason that was showing just open bracket and closed bracket. See here, I think Tej Vinay, this was a problem. You might have selected only one and then click on OK. But here you need to select all and then click on OK. Then you will get all of this. And rate equals and hash code. What else is missing? ToString is missing. All right. Now let's rerun the application. Meanwhile, I'll close this browser tab. I'll freshly open. All right, the application is started. Open Swagger page, localhost 8080 swagger UI dot html. Account controller, create account, right? You just click here. Now you see address field is also being populated with the proper values, right? So this is the complete account model, account request or the account body, right? Within account body we are using the address. So this address is starting here and ending here, right? So all this format is called as the JSON format. JSON format. Okay. Now let's enter the values 9876 5432 1654 for example. Phone type I leave it as savings. Here in the address city I'll put Bangalore. Here it's okay. The sequence is changing because it is coming in the alphabetical order here. Though the flat number should come on the top, right? But here city is coming on the top because here it is taking the alphabetical order. That's okay. So district is also Bangalore. Plot number from 506. Landmark somewhere NZ Road. Pin code 560043. Some random number I'm giving. State is Karnataka. Street name is NZ Road only. I'll give. The branch, what is the branch? So branch also, I will say NZ Road branch. If required, yes, true. City. So here we don't need the city rate actually. Or probably this should be the customer city, not customer city, probably branch that is located at. This is the address belong to the account holder, but this is city belong to where the branch is located. Let's understand in that way. So closing balance for now I'll put 100.00. Date of birth 2023 5 9. Let's say I'll put some 2003 5 9. Email ID month date email.com. First name month. Gender male. Guardian name Suman's father. I'll put some random name so that I don't want to waste the time. IFSC code, let's say SBIN 009674 5 whatever it is. Internet banking required, yes, true. last name, Suman's last name, something I'll put Prasad. Mobile number, I'll put some random number 9873543219. I think it should be okay. Nationality, Indian. Nominee, I'll put with the occupation, I'll put government employee. So that is the enum. That is automatically taking the default option. If you want to change, you can change. Let's keep it as government employee. Next, opening balance is also 100. PAN card number EHKL 9876B. Alerts required. Right. So now we have filled all the fields here in this JSON format. Okay. Now I send the request. Try it out. It is processing. Accept. Request header. See, this is the response body. This is the request body. Right. See here. This is the request body. Right. This is the response body we are getting in return. Why we are getting this? Because in the code we are returning the account that has been created, right? It's the same thing, but now if you go to the database, you see it is a zero records now. If I just refresh it, you should see that data. See, account is created with the ID. So now this can be treated as an account number. Usually account numbers are random, right? You will not give the account number, right? When you apply for the account, bank will give you the account number. First name, last name, date of birth is saved, nationality, mobile number, all the fields are saved. Clear, guys? This is little matured way of creating the bank account here, right? So here we had already discussed there are three different ways that we can use. One is the path variable, second one is the query parameter, and third one is the request body. So request body means when you have more than three or four fields, right? More than, probably you can say three fields, right? Then you should use the request body. If you are using the request body, here you should use the post mapping. Post mapping. So, and also this is a creation operation, right? This is a create operation. So whenever you do create or update operation, you should use the post mapping. Or, and whenever you do read operation, like getting the information, then you should use the get mapping. All right. I'll stop it here. We'll continue tomorrow more on this application itself. Going forward, right? I'll be doing a lot of functionalities I'll implement here itself. All right, guys. Any questions you can ask me in next 1 or 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll just push this code.